on my way. I'm on my way to the freedom land. To the freedom land. I'm on my way.
That's a beautiful mass. It's a work of art.
To the freedom land.
To the freedom land.
I'm on my way.
I'm on my way
to the freedom land.
to the freedom land.
I'm on my way. There you go. Great God, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
I ask my family to come and go with me.
Come and go with me.
I ask my family, come and go with me.
Come and go with me.
I ask my family, come and go with me.
Come and go with me.
I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way.
If they say no, then I'll go alone. If they say no, then I'll go alone. If they say no, then I'll go alone. I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. And I won't turn back. Yeah, I'm on my way. And I won't turn back. I'm on my way. And I won't turn back. You know I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. I said I'm on my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to the freedom land. Said I'm on my way to that freedom land. Said I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. Last line, I said I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way.
Yes, indeed, we are on our way to where nobody knows. And we're not telling. I'm Reverend Taryn Strauss, Senior Minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, where we have come together from afar, from near, from very far. Welcome to those of you online to transform lives through creative and courageous action, and creative action, and soulful connection. If this is your very first Sunday here, or if this is your 1,000th Sunday, I want you to know that you are welcome to join us on our way. Join us on this spiritual journey we are on together. This is a holy community of people who want to love the hell out of this world. that today we come together to explore the depths of life, to deepen our devotion to our faith life, to grow our souls, which is a lifelong pursuit. So I want you to hear that if you are struggling today, if you are struggling with mental illness or economic crisis today, you are so very welcome here in this space. If you are transgender, if you are non-binary, we welcome you here today. You who are pansexual, bisexual, gay, straight, lesbian, you are most welcome. We welcome you who pray to a God of your understanding. We welcome you who believe in love, who honor science and reason as the path of meaning making. We are all out here swimming together in a great big ocean, one that is wide enough to contain our precious identities and our beliefs. And we are ready today to go deep. Amen? Amen. So come on in. The water's fine. At this time, I would like to invite one of our newest members, AJ Paulson, who's going to light our chalice this morning. Please join AJ in saying the chalice lighting words together. You are doing so great. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace. Thank you. So today is also, this is kind of a kitchen sink Sunday, I like to call it. Many things are happening. So we're going deep, and today is also a day of discernment for those of you who have been here for a while now or a few Sundays, and you are ready to dive in and become a member here at UUCA. And some of you, we may know that today is your day to dive in and join our congregation as a member, and some of you may just find yourselves ready out there today. So if you are just now learning that today is New Member Sunday and you find yourself ready to dive in, you don't even have all your diving gear on yet, but that's okay. We'll catch you. Today might be your day. So at this time, I want to invite all of you who are ready to join UUCA as a member to come and join me here on the chalice. Becoming a member of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta is a demonstration of commitment to our covenanted community. It is a choice to live by our shared mission to transform lives through courageous action and soulful connection. It is an exciting moment to commit to this holy work of transformation. And we are so grateful for you and glad you are here. So joining us, so I've already said this part. So if you're ready, if you're thinking that today's the day, you can come on up. And I want you to also know the presence of both these new members here and our existing congregation reflects the strength of our shared commitment to our covenants. And as a covenanted community, we embrace a loving accountability to one another as we pursue mindful communication, constructive conflict resolution, celebration of diversity, and the creation of the common good. Now, I know that these are a lot of complicated words, but you who are kids out there, you are a part of this too, as we welcome people to this congregation. So I want to invite all of you to join us with our newest members in a responsive litany. So here's your part. It's here and behind you. Today, I become a full participant . And now you. Inspired by those of you joining today, we renew our commitment to support the mission and covenant of this congregation through our gifts and our service. All of us. Together, may we become the people we aspire to be and the people the world needs. Welcome to you all. Please welcome them. Service, you are all invited to meet for a few moments in the Commons, which is down the hall, and meet with some of our belonging team and receive a packet of information. And then you are invited to continue into the social hall, where I hope you will greet these folks, get to know them, ask them some deep questions about who they are and what their hopes and dreams are for their faith journey, and also share some coffee and amazing pound cake. Yeah, and another big cake. More cake, lots of cake. All right, so we will see you there.
What a good morning. Our story is What the Road Said by Cleo Wade. It's one of our UU tradition stories in its own right. Sometimes we bring particular stories back because they have something new to teach us every time. And our illustrations are by Lucy de Moyencourt. Have you ever wanted to go in a different direction? Have you ever wondered if there was something more, something out there, something just different? I did too. Then one day I was walking my usual way home when out of nowhere, for no reason at all, almost as if it were magic, a road appeared. I could not believe my eyes, so I walked over to it and I said to the road, "Where do you lead?" The road said, "Be a leader and find out." "Well, how do I start?" I asked. The road smiled and said, "You have already started." "Well, what happens when I get there?" "We've just begun," said the road. "Do not skip straight to the ending. Enjoy the beginning and the middle, too." "Well, which way do I go?" "That is your choice to make," said the road. "But what if I go the wrong way?" The road curved a little, almost as if it was giving me a hug, and said, "Do not worry. Sometimes we go the wrong way on our way to the right way." "Well, what if I get scared?" "That is okay. You are brave," said the road. "But what does it mean to be brave?" I asked. The road guided me through a very gloomy forest. Even though I was frightened, I trusted the road. And as I took one step and then another step after that, the road gently whispered, "Being brave is when you are afraid of doing something, but you do it anyway. Do not let what scares you keep you from continuing on your path." "Will I always move forward?" "Not always," said the road. "Well, why not?" "Well, because sometimes you will stumble backwards, and sometimes you will stand still." "Well, what if I fall?" "Everyone falls at some point," said the road, "but I will always be there when you land." "What if I get lost?" There may be some days that feel long and dark, said the road, but I promise that no matter what, I will give you the evening stars and the morning sun to light your way. What if I grow weary or get hurt? I will give you trees of all shapes and sizes to shelter you when you need to rest and heal, said the road. Well, what if I get lonely? You are never alone, said the road. Well, what if I change? Come with me, said the road. As I moved forward, the road introduced me to a caterpillar and a family of seeds. We did not stay long. The road began taking me on a journey through the seasons. I watched summer turn into fall, and fall turn into winter. And as spring was upon us, I realized we had gone in one big, beautiful circle. I looked down and found I was standing in front of the caterpillar and the seeds once more, only the caterpillar was no longer a caterpillar, and the seeds had turned to flowers of every color swaying in the sun. The rose then raised me up and said, all things grow and change. This is the magic of being alive. You too will find your wings. You too will bloom. No living thing is meant to stay the same. What if I need help on my journey? Ask your fellow travelers along the way. Well, what if they are mean to me? Lead them to kindness, said the road. How? By being kind. Well, what if they want to fight? Lead them to peace, said the road. Well, how do I lead them to peace? By listening to their stories, telling them yours, and reminding them that you were all on this journey together. Well, what if the world around us is filled with hate? Lead it to love. How? By sharing the power of your love with it, said the road. Well, what if I can't do it? You can, said the road. How do you know? Because you have come this far, said the road. I said to the road, where do you lead? The road said, be a leader and find out. So this morning, I would like to invite the Frost Boyce family to the chancel to lead us in this morning's movement prayer. And so please rise in body and spirit and join us. First, we bow to honor the Spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of Spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present, honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present. Amen. Blessed be. Thank you. So at this time, we would like to invite our children 3rd grade and under to exit and join their preschool or creative play for this morning. And please note that the location for these are just down the hall on the 1st floor. And as our children recess, please take this opportunity to greet your neighbor, especially someone you have not met.
let us put hands upon hearts, feel the heartbeats, that connection to life. Breathe in peace. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love can heal this world. We send our love and our strength to Reverend Dave Dunn, minister of UU Metro Atlanta North, and Reverend Jeff Jones, minister emeritus of Emerson UU Congregation, who both spent 48 hours in the DeKalb County Jail after being arrested for civil disobedience on Thursday. May they be safe. May they be strong. 2001, coordinated terrorist attack in the United States impacted our society and our world forever. I remember teaching high school at the time and thinking these kids' lives would never be the same. Each year on September 11th, we remember the people who lost their lives or their livelihood that day. We remember the falling man and those others who fell, the airline passengers, the rescue workers, the bus boys, and the financiers. We remember the terrible racism, the anti-Muslim propaganda that followed, the violent havoc we wreaked in Afghanistan and other nations in the name of retribution. September 11th, 2001 changed everything. We still pick up the pieces in so many ways. And so it is important to take time to remember that day, the lives lost, and the echoes of that loss we still hear when we listen for it. There is someone in your life who is struggling today, someone who is grieving or suffering, who could use extra loving energy coming their way. Please write that person's name in the live chat or speak their name aloud into this holy space now. I invite us now into a time of ancient Ignatian prayer. It is an ancient prayer the monks once did called the Awareness Examen. The goal is to bring deeper awareness to your own responses and choices each and every day. The journey of self-awareness is eternal. It never ends. This prayer relies on the presence of something beyond yourself. Call it spirit, call it God, call it the power of love, call it universe. Spirit of life, love eternal. Spirit, you have been present in our world. Today, I give gratitude for, and name to yourself what you give gratitude for. We ask for closeness. Holy mystery, be near to me now. Let us look together at our day. Let me see through loving eyes. When did I listen to the call of something greater today? When did I resist the call to my best self? holy love, everything is a gift. I give thanks and praise for the gifts in my life today. And I ask for healing for this other part of my life. I ask for healing and say to yourself, what needs to be healed? I ask for the presence of the sacred in my life each day. Let us now calm our bodies and calm our minds. We breathe in peace and we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the silence.
Unitarian Universalists have a strong tradition of standing up to the status quo in the pursuit of justice, including our predecessors in Atlanta. Early Atlanta UUs agitated for unpopular ideas such as women's suffrage, equal pay for equal work, an end to child labor, integration, and civil rights. Many courageous UU congregants stood up for justice despite opposition from less radical UUs, who were no doubt influenced by powerful institutions, including the FBI, who aggressively hunted for and punished communists, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, who editorialized that the United Liberal Church, as we were then known, was being infiltrated by left-wing politics, and the Atlanta City Council, who denied the integrated UUs a building permit. In 1960, when Ebenezer Baptist Church and the United Liberal Church decided to hold integrated youth group meetings, they were threatened with violence from the Ku Klux Klan. Instead of keeping their children safe at home or trusting in the police, the parents surrounded Ebenezer Church, protecting their children and their principles with their own bodies. Nationally, our faith has been on the forefront of efforts to protect the basic freedom to vote by organizing and marching in Selma. I am humbled and inspired by this courage. Could I send my child into harm's way and stand to protect them from violent racists? Our faith affirms powerful values of justice, peace, the inherent worth of every person, and our interdependent web. To live my faith, I believe I'm called to act. I like to believe I would have linked arms with the marchers to Selma, where UU Reverend James J. Rabe was beaten to death. I hope I would have helped to shuttle protesters like UU congregant Mrs. Viola Luzo did and was shot while doing so by a paid FBI informant. I have protested and marched for Black Lives Matter, for women's rights, for choice, for peace, and for LGBTQ lives. Only sometimes did I feel scared. Yet even today, powerful forces seek to intimidate and silence those struggling for justice. Police continue to arrest protesters for trumped-up crimes such as inciting a riot or resisting arrest as a common suppression tactic. I can only imagine how terrifying it would be to find myself in handcuffs or in prison for speaking out for justice. One way I can put my values into action is by supporting an organization which defends our rights to protest. The Atlanta Solidarity Fund offers protesters legal support in order to prevent arrest, as well as access to lawyers if imprisoned. Bail and assistance getting to court may also be provided. They have recently helped a Georgia Tech student who was protesting a police killing of a fellow student to get out of jail and ultimately win a lawsuit against the police. The Atlanta Solidarity Fund has helped protesters against what is called Cop City and many others who have spoken out for unpopular ideas. By donating to the Atlanta Solidarity Fund today, I'm proud to be part of a UU tradition of speaking up for our values, even when powerful forces line up to stop us. Your offering to UUCA and the Atlanta Solidarity Fund will now be gratefully received.
This next song is from my favorite musical, Sunday in the Park with George by Stephen Sondheim. It is the whole musical is a fictional account of artist George Seurat, who painted that, right? Sunday in the Park on the island of Le Grand Jatte. In the first act, it is about this fictional account of George Seurat and his muse, and in the second act is about George Seurat's great-grandson, who is also an artist trying to find his way. And he goes to the island of Le Grand Jatte, now covered in condos and skyscrapers, and he's trying to realize that he is stuck in a rut when he has a vision of George Seurat's muse, also his great-grandmother. It might be in his head, it might be a ghost, you don't know. But it's a beautiful song called Move On.
Are you working on something new?
No,
That
I'm
is
not
not.
working on anything new.
That is not like you, George.
I've nothing to say.
You have many things.
Well, nothing that's not been said.
Said by you, though, George.
I do not know where to go.
Nor did I.
want to make things that count, things that will
I did
do.
what I had to do.
What am I to do?
Move on. Stop worrying where you're going. Move on. If you can know where you're going, you've gone. Just keep moving on. I chose and my world was shaken. So what? The choice may have been mistaken. The choosing was not. You have to move on. Look at what you want, not at where you are, not at what you'll be. Look at all the things you've done for me. Opened up my eyes, taught me
every tree.
Understand the
light.
Concentrate
I want to move on. I want to explore the light. I want to know how to get through to something new, something of my own. Move on, move on.
Stop worrying if your vision is new. Let others make that decision. They usually do. You keep moving on. Look at what you've done, then at what you want, not at where you are, not at what you be. Look at all the things you gave to me. Let me give to you something in return. I would be so
and the color of your hair, and the way you catch the light, and the care, and the feeling, and the life moving on.
We've always belonged together. We will always belong together. Just keep moving on. Anything you do, let it come from you, then it will be new. Give us more to see.
Wasn't that wonderful? And now please join me in the dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings.
How do you know what comes next? At age 33, you are feeling restless and defeated maybe in your job. Lately, you've been fantasizing about different careers. You've been entertaining the idea of having children, and you're not sure you want to put off parenting. But how to choose and how to manage the overwhelm of a career change? How does parenthood fit into this picture? At age 78, you are pondering if now is the time to move on from the home where you raised your family. You know you need more help, but assisted living, it just seems so final. Is this the right step? The right time? You feel pretty good, but then again, you don't want to fall someday and have the decision made for you. At age 26, you've been dating someone seriously for a year, but you're not sure where your career is heading yet. You've been thinking about grad school. Your partner's income is not enough to support you both. Should you move? Get married? And how do you know when you're ready for marriage? At age 66, you retired a few months ago. You no longer feel as exhausted as you have these last 5 years, nor do you miss the striving of your former lifestyle. Yet you are beginning to find your days stretching out before you with little to occupy your time and energy. You still have much to offer and contribute. You must find something worthwhile to fill your time, but what? These types of quandaries call for a habit of spiritual discernment. This is the time to get real monastic, monk-like. It's not just decision making. See, discernment is a word ministers use all the time, in addition to words like call. But I wonder if we all really know what we're saying when we talk about discernment. I have long been inspired by the monastic practices of the Jesuits, so I thought I would share some of their ancient discernment practices with you. That's what we did earlier. It was like a UU'd up version of the Awareness Examen, which is sort of a central prayer for the Jesuit Society. My favorite saints that I learned about in seminary were the ones who made practical use of their faith, and no one is better known for this than Saint Ignatius of Loyola, the patron saint of spiritual retreats. Inigo de Loyola was born in the Basque region of Spain in 1491. He distinguished himself as a young scholar who served at court, dreaming of becoming a knight and hero. And after being wounded quite early at the Battle of Pamplona, he was bedridden for the entire next year. While convalescing at the castle, he asked for books about chivalry, but all they had were books about Christ and biographies of various saints. The young soldier had always dreamed of imitating heroes, but now his heroes had names like Francis of Assisi and Catherine of Siena and Teresa of Avalon. When he was well enough, he traveled to the shrine of Our Lady of Montserrat with newfound zeal to serve God, where he kept vigil all night. He laid his sword dramatically on the altar and gave his fine clothes to a poor man, casting aside his life as a noble soldier, and he became a poor pilgrim. He famously spent time in a cave for a while. This seemed like part of the deal in those days. If you were going to, become elevated in some way, you had to go to the cave. A cave at Manresa where he began writing his spiritual exercises. The spiritual exercises then became a compilation of prayers, meditations, and other contemplative practices meant for spiritual directors. Yes, this is in the early 1500s. Spiritual directors who guide people through a process of reflective prayer. This series of exercises focused on the idea that stretching oneself spiritually is as important as an athlete's conditioning routine. After many years of schooling, he began, many years, I'm just skimming this here. He began a new order of priestly spiritual scholars, the Society of the Jesuits, which Pope Paul III made a formal religious order in 1540. For the next 15 years, he led the Society of Jesuits from Rome and grew them to over 1,000 brothers. Jesuit schools and churches were founded all over Europe, as well as in the West and Brazil. And after his death, a pope, does it really matter which pope, canonized him in 1622, like one of them did that. I love Ignatius's hero's journey, where he dreams of being a military champion, becomes bedridden, and realizes greatness can be achieved through internal tests of strength. St. Ignatius of Loyola was concerned with something Star Wars fans understand as the Force, or Wheel of Time fans might understand as the One Power. I thought somebody might say it. The One Power. An energy you can connect with, that if harnessed, if practiced, and built a relationship with, well, it can move mountains for you. If you look for the presence of the holy in and around us, you will deepen in your own self-awareness. You will become more reflective and fine-tune your own responses to this energy. I'm starting to feel like you haven't watched The Wheel of Time, and you definitely need to. Or read it. This is not about self-improvement, friends. This is not self-help. This is not self-assessment. I'm not giving you one more thing on the list of things to do and worry about. Oh, yeah. Do spiritual discernment. This is not that. This is about spiritual freedom. Discernment can become a way of life, just like another sense, a sixth sense in a way, and spiritual freedom is one of its most precious fruits. How might you recognize spiritual freedom's presence in your life? I mean, what does that really feel like to know spiritual freedom? Well, theologian Thomas Ryan points to 4 signs of its presence in your life. Spiritual freedom is marked by self-acceptance, the kind of self-acceptance that allows you to be at ease with others so much that it puts them at ease with themselves in your presence. And spiritual freedom is about living your own calling to the fullest. People who are spiritually free are tantalizingly alive. They can take bold initiatives. They are not paralyzed by the prospect of failure, and they can withstand great criticism. They are on their path. They are following their call. People who are spiritually free are also free from unhealthy attachments, such as self-centeredness, addiction, or desire for power. And finally, the mark of spiritual freedom is just a daily rededication of your life to the path of living with sacred depth. So spending some time each day in prayerful discernment about what comes next and how to follow your most essential call. So imagine what a community of spiritually free people would look like and feel like. We would love each other equally, but also we would love uniquely. So we would come to prize diversity as absolutely necessary for the thriving of this community. We would support each other's discernment. We would ask thick questions of one another. What is a thick question? Any third graders out there? Or third grade teachers? In the Georgia Education Standards for third grade, I mean, some of you know how I know this, English language arts students learn to tell the difference between thin questions and thick questions. Thin questions stay superficial. They are questions that are obvious, or they're used just to evaluate a piece of literature. What color was the protagonist's hair? Did you like the book? By the way, I'm part of a book club that has like one rule. Well, there's a few rules, but the main rule is never ask if you like the book. And never say if you like the book. That's not a thick question. Thick questions ask something that is deeper. It goes deep beyond the obvious. Why did the character take this action? How did that action affect the others? What was the protagonist's main goal? And how did it affect you, the reader? At UUCA, we can become a place where we challenge ourselves and challenge each other to ask the thick questions. Now, I found the unhelpfully confusing dictionary definition of discernment to be quite helpful, actually, and intriguing. Webster offers 2 definitions side by side. First, discernment can mean the ability to judge well. The second definition reads, perception in the absence of judgment. So which is it? Judging or perceiving? The Myers-Briggs personality test puts perception and judgment on polar opposite ends. But discernment, I think, brings them together. Discernment is a practice of aligning your heart knowledge, your perceptions, your felt knowledge with your judging mind. If you can achieve alignment, your life will then deepen into fulfilling a sacred call. And when you are following a call, well, the smaller decisions just become easy, obvious. So here are some thicker questions that can help you with discernment. How can I be most myself? What do I really desire? What is the desire beneath that desire? What feels most true to who I really am or who I really want to be? Now, the way of discernment includes 7 steps. I'm going to try and break it all down for you that can become a practice. And by the way, much of this is based on Elizabeth Liebert's fabulous book, The Way of Discernment, which maybe I'll teach this year. I really want to. But this is how discernment can become a practice, reorienting your life towards this attunement, towards depth. 1, seek spiritual freedom. That's the first practice. Seek attunement with the force, with love's power, with God, with nature. What does this mean, by the way? How do you seek attunement with nature? I have a friend who is a spiritual naturalist, and what this means is often if she happens upon, like while she's hiking, if she happens upon an intact snakeskin, she'll probably end up dumping her boyfriend. or upend her life in some way, in some very profound way. Because obviously that is what the snakeskin is telling her. Now, I am making light of this, but the snakeskin's presence is really merely confirming something she was already considering. But she reaches towards that wisdom. She desires it. And that is what it means to seek spiritual freedom. So you could walk by the snakeskin and think, that's cool snakeskin. I'm going to keep walking. Or you could walk by the snakeskin and receive it as a sign for your life. That something in this world has a desire for you. And all you have to do is follow that call. Okay, so that's the first, seek spiritual freedom. The second step is to discover and name the issue you face. What is really at stake is not always self-evident at first glance. So really, what is it you're really talking about? And what's beneath that desire? And what's beneath it further still? Okay, the third piece of work is to gather and evaluate data about the issue. This is like mostly what people do. This is mostly all they do when they're making a decision. Gather the data. But with discernment, gathering data is just one piece. See, decision-making and discernment are not the same thing. It is very possible to botch a decision, make a bad decision, while still moving forward in your discernment process. In fact, oftentimes discernment requires missteps or taking left turns. I think the song set that up beautifully. The next step is to reflect and pray. This requires a lot of meditation or prayer, time for quiet reflection. And the thing you pray for is spiritual freedom and to reflect on the data you've collected. This is before you act. You're just thinking and reflecting. You're meditating. You're breathing with the ideas. Just meditate on what is beneath your data and what is deeper still underneath that. Okay, the next step is to formulate a tentative decision. I have to publish this sermon. This is a lot of steps. Okay, the next step is to formulate a tentative decision. Okay, so you're thinking you might know where you're going. Here's the decision. The next step is to seek confirmation. They call this test the leadings. That's what they call this. Bring the decision to your community of faith, to your small group ministry, to your covenant group, to us. Bring it to us. Discern the discernment with people who will ask you thick questions about that. And finally, assess. Assess the process. This is more prayerful reflection. Still, the discernment continues. Now, this whole path and process may seem complicated, but if practiced, it can lead to a life where the path just seems to open up before you with ease. Now, I will admit that I have been personally in deep discernment about how to impact the system of policing here in Atlanta. And this issue of Cop City, which is complex and it is multifaceted. The Atlanta Police Foundation, largely funded by national corporations headquartered here in Atlanta, well, they're accountable only to its funders. They've disregarded the will of the voters. Then we have city council members who have not always been transparent or nor truly open to citizens' questions and concerns about the facility. We have police and state prosecutors who have committed aggressive oversteps in dealing with civil disobedience and community protests to this facility. And the residents who will have to live near the police training facility, well, they are largely vocal that they do not want it in their neighborhood. And we are still no closer to justice for Tortuguita, the young forest protector activist who was killed by police last year. And our fire department deserves a state-of-the-art training facility. And some of the facility will be used to implement implicit bias training and racial justice education to our police force. And don't we want that? Although you could argue that training could happen anywhere. Does not require a whole new facility. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I have felt mounting pressure to get more deeply involved. And just this week, 2 of my beloved colleagues in ministry were arrested and held in the DeKalb County Jail for 2 days and 2 nights as a result of their civil disobedience. This is a matter that has required discernment, not a knee-jerk reaction. If you are still in discernment on these issues, I honor your process. And your authentic desire, your desire for a city without violence, where all can feel safe, protected, and served by our law enforcement agencies, all. There is a lot of brokenness in Atlanta right now. And for this moment, I am choosing in my discernment process to sit with the brokenness. And do what I can to support our right to assemble, to push for a public referendum, and to maintain the people's right to lift our voices in protest. And I worry about being misunderstood because my position can be very nuanced. And at this moment, I don't have an easy answer for you, or a simple response that you can join as a member of UUCA. What I do have is a deep commitment to go deep into the issues with you, to question anytime the issues are oversimplified, and to stay in the conversation. Will you do that with me? My holy call is not to offer you a simple solution or a soundbite for you to argue for or against, but to invite you into an experience where you can deepen your understanding of the issue and find your own way through it. Your own discernment. So I encourage you to ask the thick questions of one another about this police training facility and about the community's response. Deepen your self-reflection and your own self-awareness on the issue. Where are you coming from? What's your social location? What stakes do you have? Listen more often than speak. Learn all that you can and keep learning. Find ways to experience in real time the various actions that are taking place at least weekly around our city. And seek alignment with your deepest self, with your own core values, and the place where the sacred is calling you. What is my favorite thing about good old Ignatius of Loyola? Well, he didn't believe discernment was a solitary practice. I mean, he went to the cave for a minute, but ultimately he came back to the brothers. He honored the wisdom of community. He encouraged group retreats and group reflections, sitting together in the quiet wisdom, asking thick questions of one another in an eternal process of depth and discovery. So welcome to spiritual discernment breaking through in your life. Welcome to the deeper waters of our own self-awareness. And like most things done well, you don't have to do it alone. I want to close with a poem, a prayer called Ignatius and the Stars, a prayer for the close of an Ignatian year. Before the vigil at Montserrat, before the pilgrimage to Jerusalem, before the foundations of the society, there was a man on a castle balcony gazing up in wonder at the stars. Saint Ignatius, awed by mystery, draw our eyes ever upward to the heavens, our hearts to the holy adventures that await us, and our spirits to the grandeur that surrounds us. May we too see all things within us and beyond us as sacred galaxies formed and held this year, this day, and always by loving hands. Amen.
Please rise in body or in spirit. Let's sing Oyaya together. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know within, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
I'm discerning this benediction in real time. Take time out of time to sit in the quiet and holy spaces in your life, to sit with your deepest desire and seek what's underneath even that, and let those desires rise until they become a holy call, calling you forward, clearing a path so clear there's no other way to go. May we do this in our lives. May we do this together and support each other's discernment along the way, because the road will be muddy and rough, but together we'll get there.
We are going.